Hello and everyone, welcome to Tbcnews. Our top stories. Tanzania firm and unwavering despite changing times.
We think together on how to mobilize a resource that can be used within this continent because we are the ones who has got all these resources.
National 2030 FGM goal on course. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says the government of Tanzania will capitalize on its available resources to strengthen its economy and execute its key projects in all important areas, including health, education, and water sectors. He announced the commitment earlier today while responding to a question from Boze Member of Parliament George Mwanisongole during the question and answer session in the Parliament in Dodoma, who wanted to know the government plans to deal with the U.S. foreign policies changes which are going to affect the USAID-funded projects, especially those related to education, health, and economy.
Serikali yetu, nchi yetu inaheshimu sera za mambo ya nje.
Foreign policies play a crucial role in strengthening both international relationships and the country's domestic priorities. By maintaining strong ties with relevant countries, you can open doors for trade, investment, and collaboration, all of which benefit your economy. Investing in essential sectors like health, education, and economic growth is critical, and having a solid budget plan will help to implement these initiatives effectively.
On the other hand, the Prime Minister has used the opportunity to congratulate President Samia Suluhu Hassan for continuing to deepen Tanzania's ties with various countries around the world, including the United States. While experts and analysts continue to react on the challenges and opportunities imposed by the new U.S. administration in Africa and the continent's role on the world stage based on its strategic location and vast natural and human resources, TBC News earlier spoke with Dr. Hildebrand Shayo, who is the development banker and financial analyst. Here he starts by elaborating the way forward for Africa based on the current trends.
One is to think on how to diversify their economies. African countries should not put their eggs in one basket. That's the most important thing. Number two, African countries need to come up with new, what I call policy reforms. What that means, African leaders themselves need to reassess their thinking on how together they can start thinking backward. Because if we can enhance intra-trade within Africa based on comparative advantage which each country has, I can tell you Africa can be in a position they can argue their case. But currently as it is, we have been divided, whether intentionally or not intentionally. As a result, we cannot have one say in the market, and we cannot get the value of whatever we do. Our influence is minimized. We can't support or can have one voice because we are divided. There is an issue of regional integration. I know there are a number of efforts that has been taking place. We have East African Community, we have ECOWAS, we have SADC, we have so many regional African Union, we have so many integrations. The question is, how are we making use of these groups to make sure we build our own agenda? We think together on how to mobilize a resource that can be used within this continent because we are the ones who has got all these resources to benefit our people. to widen our industries, to add value, to increase the value of our commodities so that we can trade competitively. So those are the areas African leaders have to rethink and have to come and think of not being bold by the so-called headmasters of the world.
In other news, Executive Director of Tanzania Media Women's Association, TAMWA, Dr. Rose Rubin, says as Tanzania moves toward achieving zero female genital mutilation by 2030, the country has made significant progress in the fight to end female genital mutilation, FGM. Notable reductions have been recorded in some of the most affected regions, including Manyara, whereby there is a decline from 58% to 43%, and in Dodoma from 41% to 18%, in Mara from 32% to 28%, and in Singida from 31% to 20%.
The censor, I find that Manyara and Arusha, which has a higher percentage, at least the percentage has dropped up to 43 over 58 by then, but also the central region, Dodoma, 41 to 18%, and Mara, 32 to 28.
Dr. Rubin further elaborates how TAMWA collaborates with the Tanzanian government to combat FGM nationwide.
Networking. One, we are networking with the coalition to end FGM in Tanzania, and also working with the government. TAMWA has been part of the amendments of the FGM in laws, but also advocating through media. There are many children who are affected by FGM within rural areas, but also in urban areas like in Dar es Salaam.
As the world today marks the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, TAMWA calls on all citizens to take a stand against FGM. Today, a high-profile delegation from the Gates Foundation, led by the president of the Gender Equality Division, Dr. Anita Zaidi, visited Mnazi Mmoja Hospital in Dar es Salaam to observe the delivery of health services in Tanzania. This visit comes after President Samia Suluhu Hassan received the Goalkeepers Award for Tanzania's remarkable achievement in reducing maternal deaths by 80%. Caroline Malewo was on the ground and has prepared the following report.
The delegation was received by the Dar es Salaam City Medical Officer, Dr. Zaituni Hamza, who explains the purpose of the heavy visit in Ilala district.
For them, they preferred to see what's real going on maternity RCH services in Dar es Salaam City Council, specifically Mnazi Mmoja Hospital. Within these 2 years, actually, we didn't get any maternal death. And for that, they say that's why your president received the award of reduction of maternal and neonatal borns.
Professor Andreas Barnabas, who is a professor of obstetrics and gynecology from the Muhimbili University, thanks the delegation and expresses commitment for future collaboration.
It's our expectation that the delegates from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they are very happy with the visits, and will continue to collaborate in ensuring that we conduct trials which can influence policy, of which can influence our guidelines, but as well as the practices within the field of maternal and newborn health.
On the other hand, the president of the Gender Equality Division at the Bill Gates Foundation, Dr. Anita Zaidi, commends the health services that Tanzanian medical practitioners are providing to women and children, which has contributed to the reduction of maternal and child death over the past 2 years.
So congratulations to Tanzania and to Dar es Salaam and to District Ilala for taking such good care of mothers and babies, that no mother over here in this hospital has died in the last 2 years. And that is something to be very, very proud of. And it tells you how hard the doctors and nurses and midwives are working in this hospital.
This visit showcases how Tanzania has made significant progress in ending maternal and newborn death through offering free health services to women and children, introducing nutrition services, strengthening referral systems, investing in technology, and improving emergency care. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
Thank you, Caroline, for that report. Now, the Bank of Tanzania, BOT, has issued a directive to all commercial banks to ensure none of their clients pay for goods and services in foreign currencies within the nation. This includes school fees, taxes, residence permits, and other transactions. The directive issued in Dar es Salaam during a special meeting between BOT and commercial banks, aiming to elucidate the application of Article 26 of the Central Bank Law, which declares that using foreign currencies within the nation is illegal for both Tanzanians and foreigners.
Person who transacts using any currencies other than the legal tender issued by the bank commits an offense. So we are insisting on using Tanzanian shillings to facilitate the effective implementation of the monetary policy, which is necessary for inflation control and facilitate growth of the economy.
On the other hand, the manager of the international economy and the real estate sector development from the BOT, Vilela Waane, emphasizes that the objective of prohibiting the use of foreign currency in the country is to help the country control inflation, to strengthen the value of the shilling, and facilitate the use of foreign currency for import. In other news, rabies kills up to 900 people each year in Tanzania, despite effective vaccines to prevent human death and interrupt transmission in dogs. Until recently, rabies had been neglected in low-income countries, but in 2018, WHO and partners launched 0 by 30, a global plan to end human rabies death by 2030. Kanki Magomoli has more.
Implementation research for rabies elimination in East Africa, SOS Rabies, is a 4-year research project from 2025 to 2028, aiming to reduce the rabies burden and strengthen One Health systems and capacity in Tanzania. During the launching of the project today in Dar es Salaam region, the Chief Executive Director of the Ifakara Health Institute, Dr. Honarati Masanja, says that most of the deaths in Tanzania occur in rural communities.
Today's launch marks the beginning of a 4-year journey that extends beyond Tanzania. We are not just addressing a local challenge, but creating a model for rabies elimination that can be applied in other endemic countries. Through our community of practice, we will share insights with over 60 countries eligible for rabies vaccine support, ensuring that Tanzania's progress informs global efforts.
SOS Rabies aims to help the Tanzanian government to adapt the best practices for rabies prevention and One Health resilience, generally whilst strengthening the health system.
The evidence gathered from the implementation and research which has been conducted by IHI in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, PRI and other stakeholders have given us evidence and also brought forward we have experienced limited availability of rabies vaccine, regardless that we have a very big number of rabies disease. We are losing almost 900 lives yearly. So this is a very big number, but we have interventions from one-year approach, not only vaccines, but also vaccination to dogs, human beings, and other interventions.
Furthermore, the Director of Health, Social Welfare and Nutrition Services at the President's Office, Regional Administration and Local Government Authorities, Dr. Rashid Mfaume, says there has previously been vaccines, but the supply chain has not been enough.
Integrating now the routine immunizations for vaccines that have been provided for under 5, for children under 5 years of age. Now the rabies vaccine is going to be available within the systems. So we ensure that the vaccine, whenever the client is in need, when I'm talking about the client, the one that has already have animal bite, especially dog bite, gets the vaccine timely, because the science tells us when you show signs and symptoms after dog bite, it's very difficult now to reverse back. So with the average of more than 35,000 animal bites, dog bite per year, because the dog bite alone, it's not all dog bites that will develop into rabies, but on average, for example, for the last year, 2024, more than 35,000 dog bites were reported in our communities.
Ministry of Health says there has been an increase in the hepatitis cases in the country, with prevalence varying depending on the region. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Dr. Boniface Silva, who works under the Department of the National Plan to Control HIV, Sexually Transmitted Diseases and Hepatitis, says the main victims are drug users. Peter Mganga reports.
In 2020, the African region accounted for 26% of the global burden for hepatitis B and C. Around 70% of hepatitis B infections worldwide occur in Africa. Here, Dr. Boniface Silva explains the commitment of Tanzania on fighting hepatitis while elaborating the current situation of hepatitis in Tanzania.
And if you look to the Tanzania HIV survey, the prevalence of hepatitis B is 3.5%, while the prevalence of hepatitis C is 0.2%. So we still have the high magnitude of hepatitis B and C. And also, if we look to subpopulation, those population who are at risk, like people who are injecting drugs, the prevalence is more than 20%.
On the other hand, the General Coordinator of Medicines de Monde, based in Tanzania, Elias Pavlopoulos, says his organization is committed to support Tanzania in eradicating hepatitis in collaboration with the World Health Organization.
We will provide long-acting buprenorphine. That is a new approach in the support of people that use drugs and want to go out of heroin or cocaine, etc. And instead of methadone, we provide a new drug that this one will be able to take the users with an injection once per month.
Furthermore, medical officers from the World Health Organization say globally about 40 million people live with hepatitis, where most of them have experienced this challenge due to drug abuse, while praising Tanzanians' efforts in fighting hepatitis.
Globally, there is about 50 million people who live with hepatitis C. And we estimate in 2022 that there is about almost 8 million people who live with this infection. And as well, we have observed and documented that people who use and inject drugs are among the people who are the most vulnerable to these infections and have high rates of that infection.
There is a really high commitment from the Tanzanian government, Ministry of Health, Drug Control Agency, to improve and address existing challenges, and this is amazing. And as my colleague said, Tanzania was already a leader in harm reduction area, but we hope that this commitment will lead to even better care.
The two-day seminar ends with the resolutions, including proper facilitation of medicine, education awareness among the members of community on the effects of hepatitis, as well as collaboration of stakeholders towards achievement of eradicating hepatitis in Tanzania. Peter Mganga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
Now let's have a look at the transport sector, whereby the Director of Security and Environment for the Ministry of Transport, Stella Katondo, says the presence of regional policies help to guide the transport sector in a better way to ensure the safety of the sea and vessels. She made the remarks during the Port Security and Safety of Navigation workshop, which involved maritime stakeholders across member countries of Eastern Africa, Southern Africa, and the Indian Ocean, coordinated and co-implemented by the Indian Ocean Commission.
Of IMO, we have got a number of conventions which were part 2. So we are implementing through TASA, which is the regulator of maritime in Tanzania. And by implementing the convention which were part 2, we are doing what were intended by the IMO, to have a safer shipping and safe of life at sea.
On the other hand, the officer in charge of the Indian Ocean Commission, Raj Mahabir, says the workshop will address presence of illegal human and drug trafficking in the Indian Ocean and come up with solutions, while the Director General of Tanzania Shipping Agency Corporation, TASAC, Mohammed Malik, promises to utilize all potential ideas for the wider interests of Tanzania.
With drug trafficking, with human trafficking, with illegal wildlife trafficking, etc., are a serious threat on which we do not want to leave it, the way it is right now.
We are confident that the discussions over the course of this workshop will achieve the intended objective, address the existing challenges, and yield actionable insights, especially on joint capacity buildings and training in our region that will contribute to the development of continuous improvement of maritime security and safety of navigations.
In case you missed any of our stories, remember you can always go to our YouTube channel at TBC Online. Watch anytime, anywhere around the globe. Now, before winding up local news, let's have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. In international news, the Southern African Development Community Chairperson, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, says the joint SADC and East African Community Summit of Heads of State set for Tanzania this Friday and Saturday is expected to come up with a formula for peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC.
Situation in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, comes under spotlight when leaders of both the Eastern African Community, EAC, and those of the Southern Africa Development Community, SADC, meet in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, beginning this Friday and Saturday. The SADC chairman, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, speaks on the anticipated meeting.
DRC has always been faced with challenges of this nature. Besides, it's a vast country. And one would want to see a central government that is in full control of that vast country. That's the first step, I think. Currently, we have various authorities speaking differently in the same country. I don't think that is the best to have in a sovereign country. So as we meet as both SADC and the Eastern community, we will probe that person and see whether it is possible to make sure there is one voice in one country.
Are the non-state actors also invited?
I'm not very clear on that one, but I believe that it will be most fruitful if all the parties to the issue
are present. It doesn't help to discuss matters without some of the participants being absent.
So as all roads by leaders of the 16 SADC states and 5 East African community states head to Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, it was Tanzania yesterday which became home of freedom fighters under the late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. Maybe with the political goodwill, Dar es Salaam once again might bring peace to the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Keep watching TBC and we will provide you all the latest in that meeting. China's film industry has hit a milestone with Spring Festival box office receipts hitting an all-time high of 10 billion yuan, which is nearly $1.4 billion. The country's box office revenues, which include ticket pre-sales, has exceeded North America's and now ranks first worldwide. This year's Spring Festival holiday has also broken the record for the highest number of moviegoers at 187 million people. The second installment of the Chinese blockbuster mythological trilogy, Creation of the Gods 2 Demon Force, has topped the single-screen box office for 4 consecutive days in Australia and New Zealand. Over 2,000 theaters in China have been upgraded to elderly-friendly venues. Now let us join Lulua Mohammed for other latest international news.
International news starts in America. The White House appears to be backtracking on some of the U.S. President's controversial comments about taking over Gaza. On Tuesday, Donald Trump opposed forcibly displacing Palestinians from the trip to other countries, sparking global outrage. Now, officials say Palestinians could move temporarily while Gaza is rebuilding. To Africa, M23 rebels had their first public rally in main stadium on Goma in the Eastern Republic of Congo, DRC, one appears to be show force. The fighters presented a new appointed governor of the North Kivu province and a mayor of Goma, the largest city in Eastern DRC. M23 captured the strategic city from government forces last week. Meanwhile, the UN says the ceasefire declared by M23 rebels last week in DRC doesn't appear to be holding. Reports say M23 has captured a mining town, Mabigwe, 7 kilometers from the capital of South Kivu region. The UN says at least 2,900 people were killed during the fighting there. The group, with its allies, broke the unilateral humanitarian ceasefire they declared on Tuesday. UN estimates at least 5,000 were forced to flee conflict in the eastern DRC last month. Fighting is continuing between Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces near Khartoum. The military launched an attack on RSF fighters fleeing oppositions. The army is slowly regaining territory around the capital. Civil war in Sudan approaching in a second year, and 10,000 people have been killed in fighting across the country. Thousands of people now are returning to the capital Sudan's Jazeera state after the army regaining control of the city 3 weeks ago. For 12 months, what Maternal was headed by RSF. Returning residents are facing severe economic hardship. The returnee residents said RSF used to exchange money with fake notes. The Sudan government has decided to print new notes to tackle the problem. To Asia, angry demonstrators in Bangladesh have stormed the home of former exiled Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Thousands of protesters gathered and set fire to Hasina's family home in the capital Dhaka. The protesters were enraged by the speech Hasina published on social media from exile in India. New Delhi has ignored calls by the government of Bangladesh to extradite Sheikh Hasina. She is accused of extrajudicial killing and orchestrating the forced disappearance of 100 political opponents during last year's students' protest. And New Zealand has been commemorating the signing country's founding document. The annual Waitaki Day celebration, including a domed service marking a day in 1840 when the treaty was signed by the British Crown and Maori chiefs. Protesters turned their back on government ministers, denouncing policies saying is rolling back indigenous rights.
That was international news as compiled and read to you by Nyambona Masamba and not Lelua Mohammed, as I told you earlier. Now let us go to sports news. In sports news, Simba Sports Club has failed to expand its dominance at the top of the Tanzania Premier League table following a dramatic draw of 1-1 to Fountain Gate in the entertaining match played at Tanzanite Kwara Stadium in Babati, Manyara. Simba scored a leading goal from Lionel Ateba after a connected cross from Landak Chisambi in the second half of the match. But Fountain Gate equalized as Chisambi played strong back pass and ball played past Simba goalkeeper Musa Kamara, sailing at the back of the net. Young Africans now is at the top of the Premier League table with 45 points. Simba is second with 44 points, and Azam FC sits at the third place with 36 points. Tanzania Netball Association Chairperson Dr. Devota Mara says they will use the East Africa Club Champion competition to sharpen the referees' skills and understanding of the rules. Dr. Mara believes that the referee training course will give them an opportunity to officiate international competition matches, and that will boost Tanzania's netball internationally.
And those referees who have met the criteria to decide the competition are going to take part in the training so as to get international certificates. We ask them to get prepared properly so that they can do better in the training and get referees who are really competent and they have the ability to officiate in every competition that we are going to participate in.
East Africa Club Champion competition will be held in May in Zanzibar. That's it for sports news. And now, before winding up the news bulletin for tonight, let's have a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello there. This is 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Starting from tonight, 9 p.m. Wind is expected to flow at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour over Lake Victoria, Lake Tanganyika, and Lake Nyasa. And the state of the lake is expected to be light. For northern coast, wind is expected to flow at the speed of 30 kilometers per hour, while for southern coast, wind is expected to flow at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour, and the state of the sea is expected to be light to moderate. And rainfall models are portraying chance of rainfall over some few areas of southern coast, southern region, and southwestern highland. And now let us see of the weather details, and this is what we expect for tonight. For Kagera, Geita, Mwanza, Shinyanga, we expect particular condition, thunderstorms over a few areas. For western parts of the country, southwestern highland, southern region, and southern coast, we expect particular condition, thunder showers over a few areas. For central parts of the country and Morogoro region, we expect particular condition, light rain showers over a few areas. And the remaining parts of the country is expected to be dry. And now let us see of what we expect for tomorrow. For Kagera, Geita, Mwanza, Shinyanga, western parts of the country, we expect particular condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. For central parts of the country and Morogoro region, we expect particular condition, rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. For southwestern highland, southern region, and southern coast, we expect cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun intervals. For Tanga, Pemba and Unguja ISOs, Dar es Salaam, and Pwani including Mafia ISOs, we expect particular condition, light rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. And for the remaining parts of the country, we expect particular condition and sun periods. And now let us take a look of the next 4 days weather forecast. For Dar es Salaam, we expect light rain and sun periods. For Dodoma, we expect thunder showers and sun periods on 11th of February. For Mbeya, we expect thunder showers. For Mwanza, we expect thunder showers and sun periods on 9th of February. Kilimanjaro, we expect light rain, sun periods, and thunder showers on 10th of February. Morogoro, we expect thunder showers, rain showers, and sun periods. For Arusha, we expect light rain, sun periods, and thunder showers on 10th of February. And that's all for today. Make sure to catch up again tomorrow. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Maria Faris. Bye-bye.
And on that note, we're ending our news bulletin for tonight. But don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Fai Bangaga. Good night.